Hey pilots, Drain Man here. Welcome back to the How to Build a Quadcopter series. This is part 2. If you didn't see part 1, I'm going to put a link in the video description. Go check that out so you can catch up to where we're at. If you're not looking for that, that's cool. Don't go look. But if you are looking to watch the entire build, you're going to want to start there. This build is going to show you how to build with Flyduino, which is KISS hardware. We've got the KISS V2 and the KISS 32-bit ESC. So if you're curious on how to use those components in your next build, this is the video for you. Or if you got a reverb and you want to do it the way it should be done, which is KISS, this is the video for you. So in part 1, we have already taken care of the PDB, the motors, we put some quad skids on, some arm guards, the works, and then we also did the ESCs. So this is part 2. We're going to go ahead and get the camera on, we're going to get the flight controller on, we're going to get the VTX on, we're going to button everything up, and then we are going to be good to go. So I am super stoked. Make sure that you stay tuned and enjoy. Who dat? What you doing in my video?
Hi.
Go to your room. You should look like this. So now the next step is smoke stopper. We're going to plug that in. And we're going to take a battery and we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug that in. And let's see if we get an explosion. What do you think? Beautiful. So now we're going to pull the smoke stopper. Alright, looks good. We don't have our full tunes, and that's because we don't have a flight controller, but we're getting there one step at a time. Alright, so we're going to pull that. And the very next step is to go ahead and hit that puppy. Oh, here we go. Alright, so let's set this out of our way. We're going to go ahead and get our camera. And let's get our VTX. These are going to be our next steps. So we'll go ahead and crack this open. If you guys are unsure about the VTX or need help with that, let me know. Drop a comment down in the bottom and I'll make a video on the Unify or any other VTX that you need done. Please just let me know. If I don't know, I can't do it. Alright, so here we got a little bit of heat shrink, which is always good. You want to keep it isolated from touching anything else. The very next thing is you got your pin. We can pop that in just to get an idea. And our pinout is right here on the back. Let me go ahead and show you guys. So there's our pinout. That's what we got. So we've got our input voltage, we've got a ground, we've then got our video, we've got audio, and then we got 5-volt out. Alright, and that's going to do it for our VTX, and it's pretty simple. And there's our button. I know you can hear that. And this one is an MMCX connector. So let me show you what I've put together. I've decided I want to go with the lollipop. So I've screwed on an adapter. So this will go here. And then that will make our deal. So we're going to set that aside. And let's go ahead and crack open our camera. And then we'll wire these up and move on to the next step. Okay. Let's see what we got. We've got one good looking camera, that's for sure. That is a nice looking camera. So there's our pinout on that. Let's see what we got. There we go. So we've got power, ground, video, OSD, and then our voltage sensor. Alright. let's see what else this comes with. We've got our book in case we want to do some reading. Alright, we've got our bracket, and we've got our connectors. We've got our remote. We've got another bracket, well, this one's a mounting bracket. This is more of an adapter. And then we've got all the different size screws we need to make this happen. Alright, so let's check it. That's it. Looks good. Alright, so that's it. So we're going to use this one. We'll save that one for the next build. And the other side would be ideal, right? So watch this. Oh, what are the chances of that? Huh? Uh-oh. Okay. Let's not do that anymore. Alright, so we've got our two connectors. Let's go ahead and get our quad back in here. There we go. And we're going to position this way. And let's begin getting this ready. Got my iron. So alrighty guys, we are back. Let's go ahead and get this rolling. This is going to be our VTX. So let's find a good length to cut. We definitely don't want to cut ourselves short or have too much. So I like to save my connectors because you never know when you're going to need them. It's a good rule of thumb. So 5-volt out we know we're not going to need. So let's go ahead and drop this down. Because of the PDB, we have our 5 volts that we need for our camera. So I won't need this. If you guys are building the same as me, you will not need it either. Alright? And then what else do we have? We have our audio, we have our ground, video, and our power supply. Alright, so let's get this in here. We're going to go ahead and zoom right in so you guys can see what we're working on. I like how we put this right in our way. So if you guys wanted to, you could remove that so it's not right in your way. It's up to you. So go ahead and get your iron nice and hot and ready, and let's go ahead and do this. Here we go. So talking about soldering it up, we are going to need this pad right here. That's one thing I would like to bring up. I don't know why, but they have not labeled any of these pads. They have not labeled any of them, and I don't like that, but you can look up the pinout. I'll include a link in the video description. So this right here is your audio. Me, I am not using audio. If you guys are going to run audio, that's great. Let me go ahead and show you. What you're going to do is you're going to solder your audio, which goes to your VTX or wherever you got it going. You're going to solder it right here, and then this Wolf PDB came with a microphone. You're going to solder right here. You're going to have your positive right here, and then your negative right here. Alright, me, I don't have that because I'm not running audio. So we're going to be using these pads. Alright, now let's go ahead and get this ready. Just like that. That's all you got to do. Pop a little bit of wire off. or I should say a little bit of silicone. I'm not sure if you guys are able to see that. We'll find out though. And then let's get our hand in here to help us out. And we're going to drop that in there. And then let's go ahead and tin this up. So tin, tinned, tinned, video tin, ground. And this one I don't think we got very well. There we go. Alright, now we're going to unlock that and let's go ahead and solder it up. So first off, now that you've got your pad ready, we're going to go ground, power, video. So ground, power, video. So let's start with our ground. Can you guys see that? I'm not sure if you guys can see that. I hope so. Next ground. I'm going to use both grounds, but you definitely don't need to. You can de-pin one of the grounds if you like. I feel like ground helps with good video, so I will go ahead and use them all. There's 2 of them here for the VTX. Alright, so if you can see that, then you see that I've put both grounds on there. Next, we're going to go ahead and put on our voltage. Grab my voltage. Alright, voltage is on. The very next solder one is going to be your video, so that'll be yellow. Video is usually red. Yellow, sorry. Your voltage is red. I'm looking at that now. Does that even look good? Yeah, it sure does. And then last but not least is our audio, smart audio. I went ahead and put smart audio. So right here for your VTX, you have a TX pad and you have an RX pad. For video smart audio, I like to wire it to the TX pad, and then I can put it in the configurator, and I will go ahead and have smart audio. So I'll be able to control my VTX right from my Tyrannus. So it's a pretty cool feature. Go ahead and get that spun up. If you guys don't know how to set that up, let me know. I got no problem making a video on how to do it. Alright, next up on our list is the camera. Let's go ahead and get the camera figured out. I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this wire here. There we go. That looks good to me. Okay, so the pads we need are, we need our ground pad, we need our voltage pad, and we need our video pad. Those are the pads we're going to use for this. Ground, 5 volts, and video. So let's go ahead and start with our ground. Ground. Now we've got our voltage. What do we got going on? Ground, and then we've got our voltage. And last but not least, we've got our video. That one could be better. So we're going to go ahead and get that a little bit closer. There we go. Alright, so now we've got those. Let me show you guys. ground. So see here, we've got our ground, our voltage, our video. This one right here is your camera OSD, so if your camera supports that, you can do that. Also, you have your TX and your RX, so I believe there's a RunCam model which actually will integrate a remote into your OSD, so that's something that you would use that for. For us, in this build, we do not need it. So, next up, we are going to go ahead and let's get our mounts put on. That's one thing I think we already talked about this, but I really do like this about the Wolf PDB, is that it comes with these. I mean, and these are awesome. You don't have to deal with any grommets, any gummies, none of that stuff, because these things right here do it all. I mean, that's fantastic. So, we're looking good though. It's starting to look like a drone, huh? Alright, next one's on. I like to make sure these are nice and snug. Alright, next up, we've got our flight controller. For me, I'm using the KISS V2. This part right here is very, very important. I want you to take note of something. On this PDB, I'm going to show you if I can get the light right. Do you see right here where this PDB says Rev 2? Rev 2. If yours does not say Rev 2, then you have to solder, your cable connector is going to go in differently than mine. Please guys, I cannot stress this enough. If you connect this wrong, you're going to be in big trouble. You're going to fry everything. So if you do not have a Rev 2, do not follow this. You will connect these cables in a different manner than I will connect mine. I'm going to show you right here. Here it is. So this is the Rev 2, so the KISS V1, which is not us, we just saw that. I have the V2. So the KISS V2, the white cables go to serial 1. So let's go ahead and pull out this, and we're going to find serial 1. There it is. White cable to serial 1. This is so important, guys. I can't stress this enough. Alright, I'm definitely trying to put that in upside down. So important right here, because if you're putting this in wrong, you're going to be in super big trouble. You're just going to fry everything. And then your black wire is going to go to your PDB. Alright, there we go. So if you are not running the Rev 2 mixed with the KISS V2, this will not be how you connect it. If you are, then you can abide by what I just did. Give it a twist or two, and then we're going to look for the front of the board, which is right here. We're going to send that to the front. So this is how mine is going to go. Alright, yours may be different. Make sure you check to see. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to put on our nuts to lock this down. Of course, I dropped it. So I do not need grommets, and that's because I'm using the rubber standoffs that came with it. They're super sturdy, they're super strong. Me personally, I'm a huge fan of them. Some guys are not. I feel like this is great. Look, I can lock this down as tight as I want, and I'm gonna have all the movement I need without being loose. With the rubber grommets, you can only go so tight before you're defeating the purpose of having them. So me personally, I absolutely love this. Alright, so we got one more nut, and then we're ready to move on with our build. Okay. Look at that. Now my next step is I'm going to take my screwdriver. It's this size. I'm going to give them all a little snug. A little snuggy snug. Ensuring that they're all as tight as I can get them. Now watch this. I want you to watch if you can. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Watch this. Look. See that? We've got the movement that we need without our flight controller bouncing all over the place. Alright, so very next step for me is going to be the camera plates and getting my camera mounted in between them. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to get my bracket put on this here just for a second. Okay, and we're going to see how we looking. So we are looking way too loose. We're looking loosey-goosey. Do you see the movement I have in here? Not good. So that's where this comes into play. Boom. So let's go ahead and get this put on. Alright, here we go. So let's next we're going to pop in our video cable, which goes in that orientation. That's what we're looking for. Now we're in on all four sides, if you can see that. Alright, now that we're on our way, we are heading for our crossfire. I'm going to run the Nano RX. What I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up my smart audio to run off the flight controller instead of the PDB. You can do it any way you'd like. Me, I want to stick to the same sequence because that's currently how I run my other builds. So I would like to follow that same concept. So right here is TX5. I'm going to go ahead and just use TX5. Next thing we're going to need is we are going to need 5 volts for our having a brain fart. 5 volts for our crossfire. We are going to need a ground. So let's go ahead and use this ground. We're also going to need a TX and an RX. So we've got our UART and we've got our TX. There we go. So we are pre-tinned, if you can see that. Those are the ones that we hit. I'll show you now. Oop. Alright, so we've got our ground, we've got our 5 volt, we've got our TX, and we've got our RX, and we're going to move our smart audio here. Not slicing it open. There's our antenna. We'll be able to use that on a later build if we want. This one we're going to use our Immortal T. Let's get our wiring out. Tin your boards. Alright, there we go. That one's always a pain in the neck. Get out our Immortal T. Look at that, that's the V2. It's different, it's supposed to be more durable, so we'll find out if that's really true or not. And we are going to pop this guy in here. Blackout. hole. Boom. I'm going to come through this hole and I'm going to zip around that puppy. There we go. Don't have to worry about that coming out. Alright, next up, we're going to go ahead and connect our crossfire to the antenna. And then we're going to figure out placement. Okay. Check your connection. Always give it a little swivel. If it swivels without popping off, you know that you're in the right spot. Next up is our heat shrink. Alrighty. Now that we have that, let's get this zip tied into place. And then lock her down. Now, having too much play in this is not good, because God forbid if it pops out. But as far as this one, I think we nailed it. That looks good. Looks like they gave us plenty of space too. I love it. Look at that. Alright, next thing we're going to do is let's switch these wires up, and we're going to feed them under here so that we can solder this thing up as you go. You know, when you build the same build over and over, then you can say, well, hey, this is how I'm going to do it. But like us on this build, this is our first time doing this build. We're going to see how we want to do it as we go. So, I'm liking that. I'm going to go like that. And then we'll connect right there. You see? Careful soldering over your board like that. Alright, let's get you guys in here so you can see what's going on. Alright, and then let's do it. Ground. Next up on our list is 5 volt. Next up on our list is TX. And the last but not least will be our RX. Okay. The next step is to go ahead and mount our VTX. And we are going to do that on our trusty old top plate. So let's get our VTX out and our top plate out. If you've got your antenna or your adapter, now's the time. Pop her in. Boom. And let's start figuring out how we're going to do this. Alright guys, let's put our top plate on. Don't screw it in or nothing like that, just push down on that. What we're going to do is we're going to lay this right here. This is about where I want to be, somewhere right in there, because we're going to shoot up just like that. Keep everything out of the props. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some electrical tape and I'm going to wrap around that, because I want to isolate my connection. So at this point, how it looks, in my opinion, does not matter. When we're talking about my video and how I'm gonna see while I'm flying, I could give a crap how it looks. And when I say how it looks, I don't mean the video, I mean how this looks. This could look as crappy as it wants to look. If I've got flawless video, I'll take it. So we're going to go ahead and set this on here right about where we want to be. And I want mine probably right there somewhere. And then let's get some zip ties. And note that we're doing it on this side because the idea is that once we get around to it, it's going to look good because all the buckles will be, all of our connections for the zip ties won't be showing. So again, we want our placement somewhere around there, and then let's go ahead and lock her down. Alright, now let's go ahead and cut them. Take this and I pop this off. You can see how that is, and it's just, I mean, we'll pop this up. I mean, it's literally, I mean, perfect. My props will be nowhere near that, you know, whatever you want. If you want to use your own heat shrink with your own color, that's fine. Keep in mind that you're going to need to see your LEDs, you know. Alright guys, so now we're snapped into place, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install our screws. Alright, and then our GoPro mount is going to go right here. So let's go ahead and mount that. I want you guys to see the VTX where it's at. Do you see I got beautiful airflow in there? And then also I've got space to put my battery strap and, you know, to grab the top plate. I've got space in between. I'm double heat shrinked. I'm electrical taped. I mean, nothing's going to touch nothing. This is not going to get in my props. I mean, this thing is solid. Let me show you. Look, I'm pushing it. Look. It's not going nowhere. That's how you want it. Alright, now we're starting to really look like a quad. Now for the next step, we're going to take this and let's cut some props. Ooh, that one shot. Got it back. And let's keep chopping. Keep chopping. There we go. So now we've got those. Went with a dark red. It'll complement the light red with the gold motors. We're going to put this right on top of here, and what that's going to do is that's going to keep us from getting and nicking this all up when a crash comes into play. So we're going to cut a piece of electrical tape. Boom. That probably wasn't long enough. Make sure you're cutting them long enough. You want to wrap it all the way around. You're going to plop that on there and then go around. And just make sure you're pulling super tight. There you go. And then we are going to rinse and repeat 3 more times. Okay, the next step is to go ahead and power it up. See how she does. Let's check it out. You ready? Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Alright guys, time to pop this in the configurator, get her all set up, create a model on the remote, and get this thing out for a maiden flight.